Today we're going to talk about how to kick in bow postures. So this counts for standing bow and also for bow on the floor. So when we kick, we're actually kicking across two joints. Okay, so the knee is going to go from bent to straighter, and the hip wants to extend or get straighter. Okay, so we need to focus on two joints. Straighten the knee and extend the hip. Okay. Now, there are two different ways that the body can kick. And the tricky part is that both of them involve straightening the knee. Okay, so we call these kicking like a soccer player or kicking like a donkey. Okay, now the first one is incorrect, which is kicking like a soccer player. Now, when you kick like a soccer player and you go like this, you notice that the knee goes from bent to straight, but the hip goes from straight to bent. Okay, so the knee is doing the correct action, but the hip is doing the incorrect action. So when you are doing a bow posture, if you think I'm kicking like a soccer player, you're not going to be doing the right action in your hip. And so when you do bow posture on the floor, if you think kick like a soccer player, it's actually going to push your knees into the ground and you're going to be trying to flex your hip. Most often this feels like kicking to the back wall. So if you feel like you're kicking like a soccer player, you can exert a ton of effort in your kick, but you won't go anywhere. It feels like you're kicking almost down into the ground. Now, the second way of kicking, which is the correct way, is what we call kicking like a donkey. And so if you think of the way that a donkey kicks like this, where the knee is going from bent to straight, but the hip is going from bent to straight. Okay, so these two actions are what we want. We want knee straightening, hip extending. Okay, this feels like kicking out through your heel. So in a bow posture, it's going to feel like kicking like a donkey is going to kick straight up. So it's like kick straight up so that your hip extends. The main muscle of your hip that you're going to use is your gluteus maximus, or your butt muscle, so that your kick will go straight up to the ceiling, as opposed to kicking like a soccer player, which will take you down into the floor. So if you kick like a soccer player, it will look like this. And if you kick like a donkey, it will look like this. Okay. Another little trick is that to make it easier to kick like a donkey, it will help you to pull your feet back, to flex your feet instead of pointing them. And so it's going to help you to grab your ankles and flex your feet back. This is going to ask your body to kick like a donkey instead of, if you point your feet and grab up on your feet, you are more likely to kick like a soccer player. So to recap, when you are in standing bow or floor bow, you want to kick like a donkey instead of like a soccer player.